Hello, it's Scary and my new top spookiest ghost videos. In the dark. TikTok and YouTube user Yang Jin sets off alone to explore an abandoned retirement home in Colorado. But it seems that it was not at all ready for the fact that someone else was wandering through the empty corridors of the building, and this someone was not at all happy with his presence. One of the frames clearly shows the silhouette of a passing adult man. Seriously frightened, Jan rushes to the exit, and upon arriving home, he rewatches the recording several times. Having calmed down and pulled himself together, the young researcher decides to return to the boarding house with his friend and find out what it was. That ill-fated corridor. While filming, one of the guys notices a man and immediately offers to come back, but the partner takes this as a regular prank, and therefore continues to slowly move forward. The dead silence and calm did not last long. Literally a moment later, a screaming voice is heard from the hopeless darkness, which is heading straight for them. Fortunately, the heroes managed to leave the abandoned house safe and sound. But what was it? Let's say this is not a ghost and not something from the category of the paranormal, but the most ordinary person. Then why is he hiding in a building all alone?
I know I saw something and I know I'm not crazy.
Don't turn around. Very little is known about this story. To be more precise, the name of one of the participants and the name of the country. There is no information about the original source, as well as how the further fate of the guys developed. Judging by the conversations, the heroes went to explore the Japanese temple, located near their city. The time is late, so it is almost impossible to consider any details that would help determine the exact location. The road has been long and difficult, and the preparation for it leaves nothing to be desired. On the way, the daredevils meet a mysterious girl dressed in a light knee-length dress. After an exchange of glances, she sets off in an unknown direction, and the guys are right behind her. The road leads them to a lowly house in the middle of the forest. Neither the stranger, nor anyone else, was near. At some point, Kanzaki suddenly became unwell. He was not himself, did not answer questions and constantly looked away. Over time, his health deteriorated, nausea, lethargy, and loss of strength appeared. While waiting for his friend, the operator decides to look around, when suddenly someone coughs from the thick of the forest. Probably, you will think that all these accidents will force the researchers to retreat, but that was not the case. Continuing towards the temple, Kanzaki repeatedly stops to tie his shoelaces. Once, twice, and during the next stop, the operator walking in front decides to ask if everything is alright with him. If yes, why does he keep tying his laces? But when he raised the camera, he was shocked by what he saw. Next to his friend was a girl pale as death, with huge black circles under her eyes. And after another moment, Kanzaki falls to the ground, without having time to say anything. Nightmare. The following video has no author, or rather, he is unknown. Filming was done with a home surveillance camera. To be honest, the record cuts to the very bones. Late at night, complete silence in the room, we see a sleeping man, and it would seem that nothing portends trouble, when suddenly the situation takes an unexpected turn. Something causes the man to wake up in a terrible panic. It grabs him by the legs and lifts him higher and higher with such force, that it is even difficult to resist. After another moment, everything stops, like a nightmare. The man immediately crawls to the headboard and tries to come to his senses, in order to realize what is happening. I don't even know what to think. I'm waiting for your versions in the comments under the video. Double. TikTok user J Van Gogh, his account has magically disappeared, has posted an entertaining video on his account, that was captured using his home security camera. It all started when Jay asked his mom to babysit his nephew. After leaving to cook dinner, she briefly left the child with toys. Half an hour later, he runs up to her in the kitchen, and tells her that he saw a little boy who wanted to play with him. Of course, the woman did not believe in the story, because that evening there was no one else in the house except them. Upon their son's return, they decide to check the camera footage, and this is what she managed to capture. At some point, a frightened boy runs out of the room, and looks through the slightly ajar door at something we cannot see. Another moment later, the light flickers, and the boy is followed by something small in stature, with the same dark hair, and in the same white t-shirt as his. Then the double, as the family calls him, returns to the room again, and the boy follows him. Users who viewed the recording concluded that this is a demonic entity that takes the form of a child. But what does she want? And why is she persecuting this family? As always, there are no answers to these questions. Hands off. The Japanese themselves are quite strange people. Sometimes you can hear things from them that you wouldn't even dream of in your worst nightmare. For example, studying their mythology, one cannot help but stumble upon river spirits that inhabit shallow lakes and rivers. If you believe what they say on the internet, then it was with him that the young family encountered. It happened one summer day. Watching and filming how little son runs, wets his legs in an artificial pond, mom managed to film someone's tiny pale hand reaching out of the water. It was she who attracted the attention of the boy, and even frightened him a little, forcing him to go to land. Those who watched this video came to one conclusion: it was a kappa. So in Japan they call a mythical creature that resembles both a frog and a turtle in its appearance. He has frog skin, short hair on his head, a turtle shell, a beak instead of a nose, and fingers and toes connected by swimming membranes. According to some legends, Kappa is just a naughty man who loves cucumbers and sumo wrestling. According to others, a dangerous creature that drags people to the bottom and takes out their insides. Nowadays, Kappa is considered the deity of water, a water demon and a creature that protects nature and protects water bodies from pollution. Find me if you can. After the death of his grandmother, the life of Marvin Kagwa changed a lot. In his house, strange, sometimes inexplicable things began to happen more and more often, which did not give peace to his entire family. One night, Marvin woke up to the fact that his niece's toys, standing on the first floor, began to play in a mysterious way by themselves. His first thought was that it was all a prank on his brother, but he went around every room in the house, including the garage, and found no one. Returning to his room, Marvin notices a swaying chandelier in the living room, where there is absolutely no draft. But these are still flowers. On another recording, the guy just sorts out the settings of his set-top box, and discovers a night vision function on it, the existence of which he did not even know. While he demonstrates its principle, the camera in his hand shoots the following. Pay attention to a small room in the back, or to be more precise to its right corner. It is in it that, literally for a moment, a mysterious shadow appears, which is no longer on the other frame. And you know what's the strangest thing? It was in this room that Marvin's grandmother liked to embroider. After this incident, the family left the house. Many moons ago, YouTube and TikTok user Joel Vasquez, who lives in San Antonio, Texas, claims to have captured a rare astronomical phenomenon, an annular solar eclipse, early one morning. Unlike a total solar eclipse, when the disk of the moon completely covers the sun, during an annular eclipse, the moon only partially blocks its light, leaving a fiery ring at the edges, the width of which depends on the distance of the moon from the Earth. For the best idea, it is worth mentioning that on Earth, on average, 237 solar eclipses occur per century, 14 of which are annular. After watching the video, Joel's viewers were divided into several camps. Some express genuine surprise and delight from what they see, others find a place for jokes, and still others call it an alien ship or an interdimensional portal. There are those who saw the same thing in San Antonio and other cities in Texas. What do you think about this? Tower of Terror. There is a place in Disneyland Paris, at the mention of which everyone who is afraid of dark and enclosed spaces, as well as speed and heights, goes to his heels. And this is the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror in Hollywood Tower Hotel, launched in 2007. It was based on a horror story from the popular show Twilight Zone in the middle of the last century. This is a story about how on the night of October 31st, 1939, after a lightning hit the hotel, the building was badly damaged, and the elevator with its guests was teleported to another dimension. The attraction is an elevator that takes guests to the upper floors of the hotel. According to reference data, its height is 48 meters, and then there are repeated falls at crazy speed and sudden stops, seasoned with displays of holograms and panoramas of the park. At these moments, it's impossible to scream or even breathe, but if we move away from the topic of entertainment, sometimes truly terrible things happen in the tower, that even the workers themselves encounter. Strange sounds coming from the upper floors, as well as a glow. And all this at a time, when the attraction is inactive. And here is what Sam Worth captured, who visited Disneyland with his family. Shooting the Tower of Horrors, the guy accidentally caught in the frame a translucent silhouette of some boy standing with his hands down. Viewers of Sam Worth are sure that this is an ordinary illusion, but nothing like this has ever been seen on any other video. It's worth mentioning that Sam isn't the only person to notice something strange. Here's another video from the internal security camera. On it, a park security officer checks the operation of the attraction. It would seem that he is absolutely alone, but at some point, for a few seconds, some transparent figure appears right behind the man and immediately disappears. It doesn't look like a hologram. One gets the impression that something is definitely wrong with this tower. That's all. Like, subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Thank you all for watching and bye.